up?
I wanted to put in my 2-week notice.
You're joking. No, you're serious?
I'm serious.
You're for real?
Yeah.
Matt, why? Matt.
I don't know how to say it.
Matt, no.
So that was me telling my manager that I'd be putting in my 2 weeks to quit my full-time job. So I guess the question is, how did I get here? To answer that question, we gotta go back a few weeks. Hey guys, and welcome to Vicurious, the show where you can vicariously live your curiosities through others, including me. If you guys have heard my previous podcasts, I recently changed the name. I thought it sounded a little more cool and relevant. Anyways, as you heard, I made the decision to quit my job a few weeks ago. Now, why in the world did I do that? Well, I'll explain it all in today's episode. So, a brief intro about myself for those of you who don't know. I graduated from university in 2016 with a specialization in marketing. And I was lucky enough to get a pretty good job at a big coffee company in Canada called Tim Hortons. And I primarily did work that involved product management and data analytics. And overall, it was a great company with a lot of amazing experiences. I spent almost 2 years there. And I guess one of the reasons why I started thinking about leaving the country was that I always grew up in Toronto. Literally, all of my best friends are there, my family's there, all of my best experiences and memories are there too. And it's not that that's a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I love my friends, I love spending time with my family. It's just that I felt like my life was too stagnant. You know, I would always go to work on the weekdays, come back home, and on the weekends I do the same thing with the same group of friends. And I want to reiterate that that's not a bad thing, and for a lot of people that's essentially what they want. It's that stability and that consistency. But I guess for me, with my priorities, I wanted something different. I wanted some of that to change. So when I think about it, I can't simply just go to work and live a pretty comfortable life. Every year I could take 3 weeks to go on a vacation, go to some new countries, and just keep that up for the next 30, 40 years. This kind of lifestyle was something that I was very lucky to have, and something that I was very grateful for. But at the same time, I was just so curious. Was 3 weeks a year enough for me to really go and see the world and really experience it? Was it enough for me to go and meet different people, different cultures? I don't know. And that idea of not knowing, it just made me so curious, and it made me consider leaving that comfortable lifestyle even more. I wanted to take some of these risks. I wanted to live through some of these hardships and meet the different kinds of people that were out there. I simply, at the end of the day, I simply wanted to experience more. So if I were to go ahead with this, what are some of the risks that I'd be taking? So I broke it up into a few components. Number one is finances. I don't have too little money. What I mean by that is I was able to save up enough money while working to pay off my student debts and in fact be left with a bit of savings. But at the same time, I don't have too much money. I didn't have enough to actually put a down payment on a house or a condo. Because of that, I'm not tied down to any kind of payments. From a relationship standpoint, I currently don't have a girlfriend, which I guess is a positive thing now because I'm not emotionally tied down to anyone. I don't have to worry about any kind of long distance relationship. And lastly, it's family. And I think families would react very, very differently to each person. For example, your family would react differently for you than how my family reacted for me. And I'll get to family later on in a different episode. But I think family was a very important component of my decision. At the end of the day, if all things went to shit, if nothing turned out like as I planned, then in the worst case scenario, I would lose a few $1,000s and I'd go back home to my family. Which, when you look at it that way, it's actually not a big risk. I'm fairly confident that I can get a job elsewhere. However, the upside seems so much greater of being able to experience more and see the world. So with that risk in mind, I decided to take the step forward. So I brought this up with my friend Julie to see what she thought, and she basically said, just go for it. No hesitation whatsoever. In fact, it actually made me a little bit more hesitant because of how quickly she answered. But she seemed very confident that this would be a life-changing journey for me. The next step was basically, should I buy the ticket now and plan everything out later? Or should I plan first and then buy the ticket? And to be honest, I was actually leaning more toward the second one, where I plan first. But Julie said that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Something that not many people go through. Why not take the jump and try something new? Try buying the ticket and then planning everything out as I go, because that in itself would be a new adventure. I thought about that and it did seem very exciting. And the more I thought about it, there was actually a greater risk with the second choice. If I plan everything out beforehand, then I may end up making more excuses for myself. For example, I might say, hey, maybe I should wait until I saved up a little bit more money. Or maybe I should actually wait for my next promotion. It's coming up soon. Or maybe it's something as simple as I want to spend more time with my friends and family before I go on this trip. And essentially the excuses would pile up, and the purchasing of that ticket would actually end up being delayed. So if I commit myself, if I go through that commitment of buying that ticket beforehand, then I've essentially set a deadline for myself with that flight. So with that, I decided to buy my ticket before I actually had anything planned. So this next recording is a conversation between me and some of my closest friends, Andy and James, simply asking them what they thought about me taking this jump. And you'll probably notice in the recording, but they obviously didn't know that I was recording this entire conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of quitting my job and moving.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. So, when did this thought happen?
Yeah,
It's kind of weird because I
And how
thought
long have you thought about it?
it's kind of weird because I thought I told people that I'm very interested in moving, kind of.
I know you told me before, but
Oh, so I did tell you.
Okay, no, you didn't tell me. You told me, I would like to do that. Usually when people say
good,
that.
yeah, that's
no,
the thing.
usually when people say that, it doesn't happen right away, okay? And you would tell me, you would update and be like, okay, I think I'm doing this.
And my friend Aaron, you met Aaron, right?
No.
From exchange.
Yes.
He lives in San Fran.
Wait, Aaron?
Aaron.
Oh, the little guy. I met him.
The little one, yeah.
So savage.
No, he is pretty little.
Okay.
But I met him. He's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So then he lives in San Fran. He said I could stay with him for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go there, figure it out, see whether I should stay in San Fran or go to LA. The worst thing that happens is I'm gonna lose a couple $1,000s and come back to my family, which is kind of where I am right now.
When are you gonna buy your ticket? And you gotta commit to
I'm
that.
gonna commit.
You gotta do it. You're
Yeah,
saying
you
you're
and
doing
you
it.
and Julie have been pushing me really hard to buy my
Yeah,
ticket.
if you're gonna do it, you gotta take the step.
Should I buy my ticket now?
I think you should do it recent soon. It's also gonna be cheaper.
I
Maybe
think
do it
I'm gonna do
early.
it now.
Do it.
Do it today.
Don't
Do
kill
it.
me.
Do it.
So what are your thoughts overall of me quitting my full-time job and leaving?
I
think
support
you should
it.
go for it.
Yeah,
And
and I
obviously, it's
support
not
it.
the safe option, but.
But I'm not worried that
Yeah.
you're not gonna end up finding another job if you come back. It just
Yeah.
takes time.
By the way, I recorded this conversation to see if there's any potential podcast opportunities in
started?
this. Yeah, it's been 8 minutes. So as you heard, I'm very thankful to them because they're very, very supportive about this idea, and they're very encouraging about it too. In fact, they were so encouraging that they convinced me to buy my ticket the same day that I was telling them this. So the next recording is literally 5 minutes afterwards when I'm buying my ticket. Okay, so I am looking into my flight tickets. Okay, so I'm recording this, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday, March 20th, Delta Airlines flight at $182.
That's good. Is that Canadian?
This is Canadian.
That's really good. Wow. How much is a return?
I got very good at finding cheap flights.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what site do you use?
I first look for deals on YYZ deals, and then look for best dates on Google Flights, and then look for the best flights on either Priceline or Cheapo Air.
Oh, interesting.
And I always search on incognito because apparently they can fuck you over. They could track what your flights you've been searching for, and then they can like charge more on top of the ones.
Oh shit.
So you keep coming back to
Actually,
it. Okay, guys. So I haven't done it yet, but I have everything set up.
So you don't know when you're coming back.
I have no idea. This is my first time booking a one-way trip.
Wait, March what, 20th?
March 20th. Yeah. What?
That's so soon. I'm gonna write it on my calendar. Matthew leaving us. Look, Matthew leaving. Brethren.
Okay, book flight for $181.85.
Wait.
Sure.
Sure.
Get excited. You just got a great deal.
Did you book it already?
Yep, I clicked it. And so there you have it. That is my thought process as well as the steps that I took to actually buy my plane ticket. As you can tell, there weren't many steps involved. I just went ahead and did it. The rest of the planning comes afterwards. So with the next episode, you'll hear my conversation with my manager telling her that I'll be leaving the company. And yes, I did secretly record her. She gave me permission to use the recording afterwards though. So go ahead, take a listen to that. It is pretty interesting. But yeah, there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys follow the rest of my journey going to San Fran. Thanks to Wise Mom and Scott Holmes for letting me use their music, and thanks to everyone that supported me in making this decision. If you guys have any questions or just general feedback, feel free to comment and I'll definitely take a read. Thanks.